Hey guys, Lance here from Cinematic Galaxy, and I know it's been a long time. Not really going to get into all the details of that, but let's just say it's kind of been a crazy past year for all of us. But I've recently, I've been making some good life changes. I've been, focusing on getting my weight down again and just being an overall healthier person again. And and one of the other changes I wanted to make was to get more consistent with putting videos out. Now, this is not going to be the best edited video, not the most well laid out video. And apologies if you hear any background noise or anything like that. I don't currently have a good mic or anything. The hope is to eventually be able to get that and get better video quality and whatnot. Right now, I'm just sort of talking to you guys, and I'm going to give a overview, a kind of non-spoiler slash slight spoiler review of WandaVision. I probably don't really have to brief you on what WandaVision is. It recently wrapped up a few weeks ago, and it's the first in a like long series of Disney Plus limited series that Marvel is putting out that tie into their Marvel Cinematic Universe. And WandaVision picks up a little bit after the events of Avengers Endgame. And if you remember the state that Scarlet Witch was in over the course of Infinity War and Endgame, WandaVision really is a continuation of her character arc and of her psyche and her mental state, if you will. And right off the bat, even though the way the show opens, it leaves you with a lot of questions and a lot of uncertainty. One of the things that I remember thinking right off the bat is obviously this is somewhat of a coping mechanism, and I think that what we're seeing is how a character like Wanda is dealing with grief. Um, the series, the first two, really all the episodes, or most of the episodes, but it opens with this classic sitcom, I Love Lucy, Bewitched, Dick Van Dyke Show, etc., etc. It opens with various homages to those series, um, really just entirely in the style of those series. And I know for some that turned them off of the first few episodes of this show. I was not one of those people. I grew up, I was raised on TV Land and Nick at Night reruns of those series, so I love a lot of that classic television. And even though I didn't entirely understand what was going on, I knew that something weird was going on underneath the surface. And but I still enjoyed every minute of those first few episodes because it was a nice throwback to a simpler time for television, and I love that. Um, what I think the show very wisely did, moving forward with episode 4, is that it answered a lot of questions and began to really explain what was going on. So people who were not on board with the first 3 episodes really got on board with episode 4. And then from that point onward, we saw episodes that were mostly in that sitcom style, um, but we also saw what was going on behind the scenes. And I loved every minute of WandaVision. I really did. I know that theories were running wild, and with any big fandom like this, there are theories as to what's going to happen, and those can be fun to discuss. But even though I had my theories, thanks to some very clever trolling from the actors involved in the show, I never really got too engrossed in them. I've been on that side before, and I've been disappointed that way before. But I was pretty much just on for the ride with this show, and in that sense, it did not disappoint. I thought it had a very logical beginning, middle, and end. And what really I'm just going to kind of list off the different things that really impressed me about the series. For one, was again the whole sitcom aesthetic. I know that some people were not into that, but me, I do have nostalgia, fond memories of a lot of these sitcoms, and I loved how authentically they were recreated for the show. And I really love the theme songs that were used before certain episodes. My favorite being the '80s one that was sort of a mismatch, a mishmash of Family Ties, uh, you know, there's Family Ties, Full House. You get the picture, right? Step by step. That was really nice to see. However, the sitcom aesthetic would not have been enough if that was all that the show had. It would not have kept me a fan in the end. I really love that this was a big. I mean, yeah, you get character development for Vision, and other characters in the show, but this was really a Wanda Maximoff centered series. And Elizabeth Olsen absolutely crushes it in this role. She's played this role since Age of Ultron, but I think that she really came into her own, and maybe it's because they gave her character kind of uh, more emotional things to do. That sounds dumb the way I phrase that. With Infinity War, and with Infinity War and Endgame, I know I haven't reviewed those on the channel. Hopefully, I'll change that in the future. But you begin to see a different arc for her character developing throughout those films and into this series. And I will have to say, my favorite aspect of her performance, and just my favorite episode in general, was the episode before the finale, episode 8. It was an exposition heavy episode, but I thought it did such a great job of, you know, it explained the whole sitcom thing, it explained the emotional connection that Wanda had to those sitcoms, and it tied back a lot to Age of Ultron, and yet furthered the story in such a way. And it had one of the best lines of the series from Vision, which I'm sure you've all heard from now, which is, what is grief if not love persevering, or something like that. One of the absolute best lines I've ever heard, probably in anything. So that was great. Again, Paul Bettany, greatest Vision. Catherine Hunt as Agnes is outstanding. And again, I know I said slight spoilers in this review, but I'm still trying to, I know some people still haven't watched this series. Um, they do some great things with her. She gets a really great theme song that is sort of what is a direct homage to the Munsters theme song. And, other strong points to point out, I thought Christopher Beck's score was great, and I thought it felt very close to a lot of the Marvel Cinematic Universe film scores. I know he composed one or two of them. I can't remember which exactly right now. All in all, I don't want to ramble. I don't want this to become too long. I was very impressed with WandaVision. I think that it's a very promising start to these Disney Plus shows. It's also, we know that the events of this series are going to lead into Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, which I'm really excited about. And as far as rating the series, I've gotten away from doing number and letter grades. I just kind of like to, I don't like to narrow down art and films into that box of giving it a specific number or letter or scale, because the scale on which I grade films is not always the same. But I will say that that WandaVision is a must-watch, but it's a tentative must-watch because some people are going to be lost by those first 3 or so episodes. And I don't like to tell people that they just have to watch this in order to get to this. It's like you may really not be on board with those first 3 episodes, but if you like what you're watching enough and you like the actors and you're curious to see where it goes, I recommend sticking with it past the first 3. Even though I love those episodes, I know they're not going to draw everybody. And then as you go further, hopefully you'll be hooked on the show by then. Yeah, I really love the series. I'm extremely excited for the upcoming Disney Plus series. I know Falcon and Winter Soldier is going on right now. Later this year, we get Hawkeye. The one I'm most excited about personally is She-Hulk. So let me know down in the comments below, what did you think of WandaVision? Um, what did and what Disney Plus show are you the most excited for moving forward? Anyway, guys, thanks as always for watching. I hope to be making a lot more videos for you guys. Check out my other channel as well, where I review comics and novels. I've moved off to a separate YouTube channel for that, and I will be uploading there soon. It's called Comics and Big Books. I'll put a link in the description below. Thanks as always for watching, and this is Lance from Cinematic Galaxy, signing off.